On a chilly autumn morning, young Lily sat alone in her dimly lit bedroom, bathed in the eerie glow of her computer screen. The clock struck 3 a.m., and her eyes were bloodshot from hours of playing Cities Skylines 2, a game she was utterly engrossed in. As the night wore on, her excitement gave way to exhaustion, but she couldn't tear herself away from the virtual world she'd created. In her game, she meticulously designed the perfect city, crafting roads, neighborhoods, and skylines with an artist's precision. Luckily, the devs had incorporated a lot of the features from the different mods for the first game, so there were a lot of tools at Lily's disposal. Eventually, Lily's sleepy yawns turned into dreams, and in her half-conscious state, her fingers danced across the keyboard and mouse, unconsciously altering the landscape of her digital metropolis. Hours passed, and when the first rays of dawn pierced through her curtains, Lily blinked and yawned herself back to reality. The screen displayed a cityscape that was drastically different from what she'd remembered creating the night before. She squinted at the screen, realizing she had unwittingly altered her in-game neighborhood. It was then that the realization struck her like a lightning bolt. The layout on the screen mirrored her actual neighborhood. The streets, the houses, the parks, everything looked identical to the real world. She blinked, thinking it was some bizarre glitch, but the more she looked, the more similarities she saw. Her heart raced, and her palms grew sweaty as she began to piece things together. Lily lived in a quaint suburban neighborhood, nestled among tall oaks and winding roads. The layout was etched into her memory, down to the cracks in the sidewalk, but now it was different. The streets had shifted, new paths appeared where none had been before, and the houses had morphed into eerie, unfamiliar shapes. Fear gripped her as she stared at the screen, realizing the impossible had happened. The virtual world she had manipulated so casually had somehow bled into her own reality. Trembling, she abandoned her computer and raced downstairs. Outside, she discovered a world transformed. The once familiar neighborhood had altered before her eyes. Houses she had never seen before lined the streets, while the familiar landmarks had vanished. She walked down the once familiar road to her school, each step filling her with dread. As she reached the school, she found it altered as well, its facade twisted into a grotesque and sinister form. She wandered the halls, her heart pounding, searching for any sign of familiarity, but there was none. Lily's mind raced with questions and fear. What else had she unknowingly altered during her night of gaming? What horrors awaited her beyond the now foreign streets and the changed school? Panic set in, and she ran back towards her home. The path was shifting and swirling around her, as if the very ground was playing tricks on her. At her doorstep, she took a deep breath and pushed open the door, praying to find her family and her own bedroom unchanged. But as she stepped inside, terror consumed her. The walls, the furniture, and even the faces of her parents bore an unsettling, alien quality. She had awakened a nightmare she couldn't comprehend, her very existence upended by her unintended changes to the world. Her fear grew as she pondered the extent of her unwitting alterations. Had she invited unknown horrors into her life, forever changing the course of her existence with a few innocent clicks? As the chilling realization settled in, Lily wondered if she could ever return to the world she once knew, or if her innocent gaming had forever bound her to a distorted and nightmarish reality, crafted by her own hand.